If this video found you in your recommended list, you either watch a lot of icebergs or this is going to be your first experience watching one. For those who don't know what an iceberg is, it's basically a tier list on any given topic, which starts at the top, starting with the most known facts of a subject and dropping all the way down to least known facts. To preface the video, just so everybody can enjoy this video without being scared in the comments, there will not be any jump scares in this video. However, I do think that some of the content may creep you out beyond imagination, as I am going to be playing clips from all the videos that I mentioned. So of course, be on the lookout for that during the video, but I assure you guys there will not be any sudden increase in volume or anything like an actual jump scare. This is going to be part 1 of 2, and I will be posting the part 2 to this iceberg in around 5 days or less from now, just because right now there is like 20 plus pages of actual script for this video, and I'm not confident I could get a video out before the week is over if I did all of it in one shot. With all that said, grab some food, pour on some more blankets, and get comfortable, because this one's going to be a long one. I did not create this iceberg. The original iceberg was actually created by a Reddit user by the name of The Best YouTuber. If you guys want to check out the original post, I will link it below. Let's get started with layer 1, which I'm going to call the weird mainstream part of YouTube. Creepypasta videos. This entry is talking about the videos on YouTube discussing various types of creepypasta. Creepypasta is basically horror-related legends or stories that are just that, legends and stories. Most of these stories aren't actually real, and I say most because I do believe some of them are based on real events, but the actual stories themselves are almost always fathomed up. They are stories written as if someone is retelling an event from their life, or just like an urban legend. Some of the most famous ones that you guys might have heard of are Jeff the Killer, Smile Dog, and Squidward Suicide. These stories have found their way into video format amongst a plethora of YouTube channels that all dedicate their time to reading off various creepypastas as if they are the characters in the story. If you have time to dedicate to it, just type in creepypasta on YouTube and you should find many channels that have lots of videos retelling these old stories. Elsagate. Elsagate refers to the controversy that still plagues YouTube to this day, specifically the side of YouTube called YouTube Kids. You know that side of YouTube that's supposed to be only for kids? Well, lots of videos have surfaced to YouTube Kids entailing some of children's favorite TV show or movie characters doing sexual or traumatizing acts. There are videos of Spider-Man performing sexual acts on Elsa, or Mickey Mouse getting his ear chopped off, and just a lot of stuff that wasn't really meant for kids to actually watch. This idea became more widely spread in 2017 when people realized that if they let their kids watch YouTube with autoplay on, that in a matter of like 10 videos, their kids would already start being subjected to these types of videos. You can still find these types of videos on YouTube Kids, as it's really hard for YouTube to crack down on this problem without completely changing the landscape of YouTube itself. For a more in-depth explanation, I've linked a TED Talk below that I believe went over the problem pretty thoroughly. Moving on. ScareTheater. ScareTheater is a YouTube channel that has been uploading to YouTube since early 2015. The earliest published video on his channel is Obey the Walrus Explained, which funny enough is actually another entry on this iceberg. Anyways, this channel mainly posts videos centered around explaining scary urban legends, very eerie YouTube videos, and all around any type of creepy or disturbing internet mysteries. Throughout the rest of this iceberg, you guys will see me frequently reference this guy's channel, and it's because most of what we're going to cover today in the iceberg has already been made into a video by ScareTheater. So I would recommend checking out his channel for anything you don't see on this iceberg, because chances are he has a video on it. Unfortunately, the channel hasn't been uploaded to since November of 2020 and doesn't seem to plan on it anytime soon from the looks of it. If you got time to go down the rabbit hole and binge, I'll link the channel below. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is a 3-minute video that was uploaded to YouTube in the summer of 2011, which on the surface seemed like just another Sesame Street type show for the internet. However, while the beginning of the video seems like any other kid show, the video takes a dark turn halfway through and it starts getting straight up disturbing with how the characters are reacting to their environment. Since 2011, the channel posting these videos, which also goes by the same name of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, has published numerous videos centered around the same idea of having a fun Sesame Street feel in the first half of the video and then only taking a dark, creepier turn as the video goes on. While on the surface, these videos seem like nothing more than to serve as shock value, they dive into topics such as how religion and cults can affect you early on, or even how Sesame Street teaches kids to not be creative, but instead to think the way that adults tell them to think. There has been 6 additions to the Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared series, with the group stopping its posting in 2018. If you want to know what happened to them, I actually made a video explaining what 2021 has planned for the group. I did in fact find an answer as to what happened to the group and why they stopped posting, but I'm not going to spoil that here. If that interests you, I'll link both the Don't Hug Me I'm Scared channel and my video below. Jack Stauber. If you guys have heard this song on TikTok or just in general, then you probably know who Jack Stauber is. But what you might not know is that Jack Stauber creates very creepy claymation jump cut style videos on his own YouTube channel. What I've been playing in the background is a promo that he made for his album, which honestly, I don't know who the hell thought it was a good idea. Maybe I'm just missing something with all of this, but his channel is riddled with these types of creepy claymation, 3D animation, and just weird polygon characters doing very strange robotic movements, and I just don't understand the whole purpose of all this other than to garner attention to his channel. His first video was posted back in 2013 and has since uploaded all the way up to August 3rd of 2020 when his last video was posted. Most of the animations on his channel are pretty high quality, and they tend to all have the same sort of style. So while I can't seem to appreciate the art that Jack Stauber creates, I'm certain that some of you out there definitely can appreciate it. And for that reason, I will leave a link to his channel below for anyone to go down the rabbit hole. Just note that some of his videos are definitely more disturbing than others. Moving on. Parody animations. I believe this entry on the Iceberg has to deal with those videos on YouTube that you see that take an idea like Pokemon or Harry Potter and then make their own animation based on those characters. Some are very well made and put together, while others are reminiscent of what you might find on a random Flash game from Newgrounds. This in my opinion is kind of similar to the Elsagate videos, with the poorly made parody animations feeling more like creepy random images being thrown around with vaguely recognizable characters, while the more high quality parodies like Oni cartoons are done for audiences to enjoy by putting these characters in hilarious situations. I'll leave a link to OneyNG because this was my first personal experience with these types of animations on YouTube. If you guys have any animations you thought were disturbing or just straight up hilarious, feel free to link them below. SaladFingers. SaladFingers is a series of 11 YouTube videos created by David Firth. These videos are mainly about a character named SaladFingers, which is named after the same name of the series, and how he takes us on a journey into his life. The videos are full of very creepy moments like this where he stabs his finger into a nail, or when this horse has a hole cut into its side. The main plot of these videos isn't very well known, but many videos have surfaced on the internet in an attempt to explain what exactly is happening in the whole series. David Firth has gone on record stating that the animations were created because he was tired of the bland mainstream style of animation that has been used since the dawn of animation. Basically, he wanted to put something out there that was just different. We see so many animations and cartoons nowadays that are just the same happy kid shows being regurgitated over and over again. And David Firth wanted to bring something to the table that would tell a story in a different way. While using that same style of storytelling, he wanted to use animation but take a darker spin on it. SaladFingers would be amongst the first of its kind, and the future for videos like this would only get better. Now, if David Firth is to release another one is very unclear. I assume that episode 11 is the final episode in the series, and I will leave a link below to a video posted by David himself, which has all the episodes in the series bundled into 1 hour-length feature. This actually brings us to layer 2 of the iceberg. If you have been watching this far, remember to smash the like button, as it doesn't just help me with the YouTube algorithm, but it lets me know I'm doing a great job. With that said, let's get into layer 2 of the iceberg, which I like to call the actual weird part of YouTube. I Feel Fantastic. I Feel Fantastic is a video uploaded by Creepyblog in April of 2009. The video gained mass popularity almost immediately because of what the video entailed. The video begins with an animatronic robot named Tara that begins singing a song about how she feels fantastic. It is definitely a very creepy and eerie video from the look of it, but for the fans of the video at the time, it would only get weirder. Towards the end of the video, this clip randomly cuts in where it's literally just a clip of grass in the wilderness, presumably someone's backyard. Many theories came out explaining how this video was uploaded by someone that killed and murdered somebody. After killing said person, they took all of the clothes off of the victim, which is presumably a woman, and they hid the woman in a hole underground. They then dressed up their homemade animatronic in the victim's clothes and made it sing. This is why the animatronic keeps saying "I feel fantastic." For whatever sick fetish the killer had, he wanted to picture the woman that he killed saying this over and over again. The killer then decided to upload a video of it singing and tease at where the remains of the body lies, and thus we have this clip here. This has actually been debunked, as there is a website that explains who made the android and how much it cost to make it. I believe that there is another website out there from the maker himself that explains how he made the robot and what it can do. So no murder story here, but it's still a great story nonetheless. If you want to see the video yourself, I will leave a link to the video below. Let's move on. Blank Room Soup. Blank Room Soup is a YouTube video that shows a man being seemingly tortured by two weird mascots. The torturing that is taking place is forcing this guy to eat this soup that to this day has its contents unknown. This video surfaced around 2005 but didn't gain widespread popularity until a few years later, around 2015. There are apparently 3 other videos that spawned after the creation of this one, with the second edition being the same type of video as the first. Both the first and the second video are the same in the sense that it's just a video of 2 masked people watching the same guy eat the same bowl of soup. The main difference though is that in the second video, the 2 figures stand at the back of the room until the end of the video, where one of the costume figures lunges at the man and then the video suddenly cuts to black and seemingly ends. The third edition in the Blank Room Soup series is a 10-second video where the figures just seem to have captured a new person and held them captive. The last video in the series is where it gets a bit more interesting. The last and final video is a 30-second clip taken by what I assume to be a random bystander on the street. The video itself is just a clip of one of the masked figures from the first 3 videos standing and guarding the front of this unknown location. The full story of these videos goes as follows. The figures captured the first guy, tortured him and killed him. Then they captured a new person and are now guarding the area or building that they keep the guy captive in. Now on the surface, you might just write these videos off as just another weird story, but that's actually wrong, and this is where the creepiness factor intensifies. As opposed to the later additions to this Iceberg, the origins of the Blank Room Soup videos still remain a mystery to this day. What I mean by this is that no one from the video's creation has outright came forward and said these videos are fake, and no one has been able to outright prove that the videos are in fact fictional. However, there are a good set of facts that point to this video's creation being nothing more than an attempt at making a shocking art piece. The rest of what I'm about to say is all known facts. The character figures that you see on screen are actually from Raymond S. Percy's artwork collection. They actually have a name as well. One single head is called a Ray Ray. He created several of these Ray Ray costumes and did lots and lots of performances with them. He has stated in an email that these costumes were in fact stolen by some unknown people at one of his shows that he did, and shortly after, the Blank Room Soup videos appeared online. So the narrative that the creator himself puts forward is that someone stole the costumes and then they made the Blank Room Soup videos. Raymond then tries to cover up for the fact that he made more videos and performances with the Ray Ray costumes after the Blank Room Soup videos came out by stating that he just simply had extras. It's this narrative that I can't wrap my head around, and I just don't buy it. Remember guys, just because the creator says something doesn't mean it's true. I say this because in Blank Room Soup 3, the guy being kidnapped has actually been identified, and he's part of a band that Raymond worked with. The name of the man in the video is Gil Sharon, and he was part of a band called Stolen Babies. Stolen Babies had many other videos animated by Raymond S. Percy. Knowing this, the narrative that Raymond put forward in his emails falls apart. If he worked with this man before and the creations were used in this video, that is a clear relationship between Raymond and this kidnapped person. Knowing all of this, you can already start putting 2 and 2 together. It's entirely plausible that Raymond is just one of those people that loves to keep up the illusion. Much like how a magician refuses to give up their tricks. Raymond doesn't want people to know it's all fake because the funnest part of watching these types of videos is the illusion. By the way, before moving on, I want to credit that last part of the theory to this video right here that I found on the subject. Now with all of that said, let's move on. Lasagna Cat. Lasagna Cat is a YouTube series created by the group Fatal Farm, which entails parodies of the well-known comic strip Garfield. The videos on this channel go as far back as 2007, and they have stopped uploading as of 2017. The videos from 2007 consisted of them acting out comic strips from the Garfield comic, and then shifting into a seemingly random skit after showing what comic they parodied. But then comes the videos in 2017. Now I had to say this before getting into the 2017 videos because in my research for this Iceberg, I have to admit that at this point in the Iceberg, I was pretty underwhelmed. And even when finding the Lasagna Cat's first videos, I was still pretty underwhelmed until I saw this video. Of everything up to this point, this is the first thing that made me physically cringe. Not at just what happens in the video, but the fact that someone actually made this 4-hour video and put it on the internet. It's just bizarre. Before I explain this video, I first have to explain another one. So in 2017, the group posted a video titled 1-800-591-3274. This video was basically a parody of any high budget movie trailer. Lots of action sequences, cool transitions, and some high intensity situations like this. Now this was all generally fine to me because I've already seen lots of weird stuff like this before. However, what made me cringe was this video posted on February 23rd of 2017, titled Sex Survey Results. This video is 4 hours and 40 minutes long. I repeat, 4 hours and 40 minutes long. Now, to be fair, the video is fairly normal for the first 4 hours or so. The first 4 hours consist of someone knocking on this door, one of the Garfield characters answering it, and then a mannequin reads off what I assume to be voice clips from the people that called the 1-800 number from the previous video. It's just a cycle of this. You hear the door knock, a Garfield character opens the door, the mannequin stands there for a second, a random person's 1-800 voice clip plays, and then they transition to the newspaper and it starts all over again. Now I wasn't about to waste 4 hours watching this, so I admittedly skipped around and realized, okay, it's just 4.5 hours of people's voice clips being played. I'm not going to waste any more of my time, I'm going to go research another video. So just as I was about to click off the video and write it off as just another stupid art piece, I saw this comment. Intrigued, I skipped to the end of the video, and for the first time in my research, I just sat there and was like, what the fuck? So at about 4 hours and 39 minutes, the video takes a very, very weird turn. The main character's double opens the door, and when the door is closed, the double turns super old. We then see a shot of him staring at this random cat in a window, and then it cuts to him walking away from the house. He runs into this weird duo, which appears to be painted to look like mannequins. The mannequins drop off a briefcase, and lo and behold, the briefcase holds a stuffed version of what I assume is the cat that we saw from earlier. Then we cut to a shot where the cat's floating, then it jumps to a guy in the middle of some rocky mountains, where I can only assume that this guy presumably gets himself into a fight with this Native American figure that appears to be painted like a cat. The guy then turns into a pile of worms, the Native American person screams, and then it cuts to a girl screaming inside of a school bathroom. Now what you're about to see on screen is basically childbirth, so if you don't want to see any disturbing or graphic images, please skip past this or go to the comments. I do warn you right now, this is going to get very graphic very quickly, but I'm going to keep playing the video. Let's go. Once we get more of the shot, we actually see that this seems to be a nice church school girl giving birth to a kid and then dumps it in the toilet, leaving the baby to die. Now this scene right here, this scene is what made me say, what the fuck? Now I was going to blur this out, but seeing as the original video is still up on YouTube, I figured my video would be fine. I will, however, leave a link below to anybody that wants to watch the actual video. The thing that really bothers me, and it's such a strange thing to be bothered by, but how the hell is this channel's budget so damn high? Who on YouTube is giving these people money? Because honestly, it's just so weird to me that someone is out there with money producing these videos. And the video is somehow still on YouTube, but YouTubers that cuss a lot are somehow taken off. It's just plain weird, and I don't care what anyone says about how this is art and it's supposed to talk about like rebirthing and dying and life and death. At some point, I think it's fair to draw a line on what's just plain disgusting for disgusting's sake and what's art. Maybe I'm just missing something, but I can never appreciate stuff like this. I think it's just plain weird. In their defense though, I believe that there is a podcast out there that I myself have not been able to find where the creators explain basically everything about the content that they've made so far. They explain why they chose Garfield, why they started posting in the first place, why they took a little break for a little bit, and they explain basically the whole meaning behind it. So if you guys know about this podcast, I would love a link to it to watch it or hear it, because I want to get into the mindset to appreciate this. But as of right now, I just think it's plain disgusting. With that said, let's move on. dining room or there is nothing. This entry on the iceberg is a minute-long short film created by David B. Earl in 2006. The video begins with a gray-skinned girl sitting at a dining room table with her eyes closed. Her eyes then open, she starts spitting out nonsense, and as she says the nonsense, the camera zooms out slowly until the girl faceplants in her bowl. The camera then stops moving and lingers for an abnormally long time until the video is reversed. The girl picks herself up from the bowl, and then we find out what she was trying to say earlier in the video. She spits out the phrase, "There is nothing," and then she closes her eyes and the video ends. The film itself is meant to spark discussion over life and death. David B. Earl has gone on record stating himself on his website, davidbearl.com, which I will link below, and explains that the film is meant to have no actual beginning or end, and no real sense of where those beginning and end start. You can read his full explanation on his website, feel free to check it out in the link below. Petscop. Petscop is an unfiction Let's Play web series. Unfiction means that it's a fictional story that pretends it exists in the real world with you and I. The channel started posting on March 12th of 2017, where it unveiled its first Let's Play episode. The Let's Play video itself is based around a fictional obscure PlayStation 1 game of the same name, Petscop. The game is shown to have been created in 1997 by Garalina. The player, who goes by the name of Paul, starts playing the game and posting videos because he wants a specific person to watch these videos. He even at some points acknowledges that the videos he's posting have garnered an online presence, but he insists he doesn't care about this and only continues to post so that quote-unquote they can watch. The game itself is nothing more than what appears to be a cutesy kids game, where you must release pets from their cages and collect them. The person talking in these videos, as said before, is named Paul, and even states himself that the game appears to be unfinished. He explores the first level of the game in the first episode, which is fine and dandy. However, when Paul enters a cheat code, the game begins to show a completely different and darker side of itself. The fun, dancey game music suddenly stops, and this is where the game starts becoming very, very weird. The entire series has 24 episodes total, with its last episode being posted on September 1st of 2019. What the series itself is about, and by the series I literally mean the videos themselves as a whole, not the actual game Petscop. The web series itself goes into deeper and darker themes about child abuse and raising the dead through recordings and all of that type of jazz. The story is a lot more complex than just that, with more and more characters being introduced throughout the episodes. If you guys want to go down the rabbit hole yourself, I will leave a link below to the subreddit and a Google Doc that thoroughly explains the events of the web series, as well as the actual channel that posted the content in the first place. Agamemnon Counterpart. This entry on the list is a YouTube video by the same name. The video itself starts off stating that in the year 2571, a video cassette tape was found in a pile of rubble on a certain blue planet, and that the video following is not related to it. Yeah, you heard that right. This is literally the stupidest statement I've ever read on any video, but anyways, let's move on. The video that follows the introduction is quite psychedelic, with a weird character hopping towards the screen with Mickey Mouse hands for feet, with the text "Let's make a friend" popping up on the top. The video then gets distorted and a faint sound of someone screaming bloody murder can be heard. Eventually the screaming stops and the video ends. A creepypasta based on this video, which I will link below, goes a lot more in depth on how the screaming was actually from a murder victim from Japan or something along those lines. The origins and purpose of this video have since been debunked as nothing more than just a piece of art that was entered into a competition. The competition in question being the Destination Imagination event from 2001. The video's description literally has this written out, saying that the sound design and drawings were made by Dave from 2001, and then stating the phrase D2K1. I will leave two links below that go more in depth on what happened. The first link is a video by ScareTheater, which was an earlier mention on the iceberg, and the second is a link to a Google document that completely debunks the theory surrounding this video. Obey the Walrus. Obey the Walrus is a viral video that features a disabled drag queen tap dancing to some distorted version of Itsy Bitsy Spider. A lot of people find this video very unsettling due to the nature in which it was edited. It was first posted in 2007. The video itself was actually taken from clips of a documentary called The Goddess Bunny. The documentary was about a woman that became disabled from developing polio as a child and then tried to make a living as a dancer and entertainer. The sad thing about this is that the video got a whole lot of hate from how creepy it was, but the person in the video itself was just another person like you and me, trying their best to attain their dreams. The woman in the video actually passed away in January of this year. Having known all this, I actually can't go back and watch the video without feeling bad for the person in it. And it no longer creeps me out, but instead just makes me feel kind of bummed out. If you guys want to watch the video for yourselves, I will leave a link below to it. Not much else to be said here, let's move on. Username 666. Username 666 is a video that originates from this channel. The channel posted it in February 26th of 2008. The video itself is nothing more than a creepypasta in video form, or also known as a videopasta. The video depicts a person typing 666 into YouTube and then refreshing the page over and over again. In doing so, the page becomes very distorted and starts turning red and very demonic looking. Some disturbing YouTube videos begin playing in the background, and just when the video is about to reach a climax, a woman inside of the YouTube video, which is playing in the browser, actually reaches out at the viewer and the video ends. Now, this video itself is nothing more than a fathomed up video. Nothing that happens in this video and nothing about the video is actually real. And I'm going to provide a link below as to what actually went down and why the video exists in the first place. There is actually a good timeline that explains what actually went down in this video. The short version is that a channel simply called 666 had its channel deleted due to the nature of the content on it, and this made the channel's creator very angry, so they posted username 666 on their second channel. This would explain the so-called angry attempts at refreshing the page over and over again, much like what someone in disbelief would do if their hard work was deleted. I know if my hard work was deleted or my channel was deleted, I'd probably just sit there in disbelief, refreshing the page over and over again, hoping that it was a bad dream. That's the short version though. For a more thorough explanation, I will leave a link to a video going a bit more in depth on why this video was posted. Jump scare videos. As I said in the beginning, there will be no actual jump scares in this video, so try not to worry too much during this section of the iceberg. Now, I was very confused when I first stumbled upon this part of the iceberg because I don't understand why it's so low. Everyone and their mom should know what a jump scare video is by now, as jump scare videos are a majorly known thing on the internet. If for some reason you don't know what it is, it's just a video with a fake premise in the beginning which gives you a false sense of security, and then right when you least expect it in the video will throw a scary figure in front of your face and make it scream loudly. Some notable examples of this are videos such as the scary maze game, the ghostly car ad, the golfing jump scare, and the rocking chair video. These are just some notable ones that I remember myself, and there are probably a lot of one-offs that you and I have had personal experiences with. For example, I know one by the name of Toy Story Secrets, which scarred me as a kid, and watching it now it's not even that scary, but as a kid I was very scarred by it. These videos have been around YouTube since the dawn of its creation, so I'm very confused as to why this is so low on the list. Nothing more needs to be said here, let's move on. That will bring us to the third layer of the iceberg. A layer that I'm going to call "You Definitely Went Down the Rabbit Hole." Sitting and smiling. Sitting and smiling isn't a really creepy addition to this list once you know the reason as to why the person is doing it. So if you go to Benjamin Bennett's YouTube channel right now, you will find a video series by the name of Sitting and Smiling. If you click on one of these videos, it's literally what it sounds like. Each video is 4 hours of Benjamin being in front of his camera, sitting and smiling. This video series is part of an endurance art performance that Benjamin frequently live streams, and then he uploads the VODs to YouTube. He gained a lot of popularity when in Sitting and Smiling 5, someone actually tried to break into his house. During the 5th live stream, a burglar broke into his house and walked upstairs. You can see the burglar open the door and say hello. He then sees Benjamin sitting and smiling and nopes the hell out of there. I would too if I saw someone just sitting and smiling in front of a lonely camera and one lonely lamp. There have been a few other instances like this on his livestream. For example, on livestream 52, he actually urinated himself and had a puddle seeping out underneath him. However, Benjamin, entirely dedicated to his craft, did not break his composure and continued to sit and smile. You can even see the puddle evaporate over the course of the next 2 hours. In streams 238 and 257, he begins crying for some unknown reason and eventually calms himself down, but the reason as to why he was crying is still unknown. But nonetheless, all of these instances remain part of the live stream and he still uploads them for everybody to see. If you guys got 4 hours to waste, I will leave a link to Sitting and Smiling 5 so you guys can see exactly what went down during that live stream. Hanging Munchkin. So of everything on the Iceberg so far, this one actually really creeped me out for some reason. The Hanging Munchkin refers to a possible suicide on the set of The Wizard of Oz. During the scene when Dorothy, the Scarecrow, and the Tin Man skip on the yellow brick road together, you can see a person or some type of entity hanging from this tree, swaying slowly from side to side. After watching the video myself, it's pretty undeniable that this isn't at least a person hanging from this tree. The studio has gone on record acknowledging that something does exist here, but they tried explaining it as not being a person but instead being a shadow cast by a bird on set. Now even with this explanation, there is no way in hell that this is a bird. I mean, look at it. It has a clear starting and end point. If it were the bird that they want us to believe, which they actually did edit the bird in the DVD version, it wouldn't have been shaped like this, and it would have a shadow connected to the ground because the bird on the DVD version is clearly sitting on the ground. That's another point to mention. People are claiming that this hanging person is only on the VHS version, which I honestly believe. I don't think it's a person per se, but I do think that this is definitely not a bird. Some people have claimed that it's a crew member that took care of the lighting ropes from up above and then they fell and their neck caught the rope in such a way that it hung them. Others say that it was a Munchkin actor or actress that got tired of reshooting one of the Munchkin scenes and hung themselves out of frustration. Whatever it is, it still remains in the movie to this day, and all I know is that this is definitely not a bird. Poppy. Initially, I thought I had the wrong channel or set of videos when I looked this one up because I didn't find any of the content particularly disturbing. Poppy is an American songwriter and singer. The reason that she is on this Iceberg is because she frequently uploads no context, eerie videos to her YouTube channel. However, I didn't find a lot of them to be disturbing and instead found them more just random and nonsensical. The only one that I found that was remotely creepy to me was this video called Sunglasses, where she just exclaims, "I love my sunglasses," like 3 times with this weird vibey music going on in the background. And then she concludes the video saying, "I love my sunglasses because they allow me to see things that aren't there." And then when she puts her sunglasses on, it reveals a person wearing white clothes and a creepy white mask sitting next to the camera that is recording her. This is the only video I found creepy, but apparently some people think that every single video she posts is creepy. Maybe I just haven't seen the creepy or scary video from her yet, but it seems more like we have a Lady Gaga type of situation going on, and I don't know, it just didn't really hit that creep factor for me. If you guys want to check out her channel below, I'm gonna have a link for it. Tell me what you guys think about it. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but I just didn't think any of it was creepy. Canal 5 3 a.m. tweets. Canal 5, or in English simply called Channel 5, is a Mexican television network that has a very weird history. If you go to the Canal 5 Twitter right now, you will see normal tweets that are typical of a network like this. However, around 3 a.m., Canal 5 starts tweeting out some very unorthodox, scary, and very disturbing type of videos. I will be playing some of these videos in the background while I talk. The crazy thing about this is that Channel 5 has never acknowledged the fact that they do this. People have chalked this up to the fact that they don't want people to know that it's a thing and are doing it more for a publicity stunt. If you want a lot more information regarding this, I recommend ScareTheater's video on it, as he does a very good job capturing the creepiness of the videos as well as explaining why they do this. I'm going to leave a link to that video below, and with that said, let's move on. Local 58. Local 58 is a YouTube channel created by Chris Stauber. He also created another addition to this Iceberg called Candle Cove. However, I'm going to be going over that a bit later in this video. Local 58 is actually one of my favorite additions to this Iceberg because I can understand the purpose behind the channel. The videos on this channel are supposed to be real recordings taken from a broadcasting of a TV channel called Local 58. My favorite video from Local 58 is this video called Contingency, where the video starts off explaining how the broadcast has ended, only for the broadcast to be interrupted by a militia type of message explaining how the US has lost this war that's been going on in the background and is currently being invaded by a third party that seeks to take everyone captive and do unspeakable things to them. But we have a contingency plan. The contingency plan is to have everyone in the world kill themselves. With no one to take captive, we have technically won the war. The message is then cut off by the network stating that what you have just witnessed was nothing more than a hoax. Now, These broadcasts aren't actual broadcasts from TV, but videos that people created themselves and then posted to YouTube. On the surface, if you watch this video at any time, they probably won't come off as creepy, but more just like, another one of those videos. But if you watch them with the right mindset, they really start to become creepy, and you start to understand why they are highly regarded as being scary. In my opinion, this is what true horror looks like. Horror, in my opinion, isn't lazy jump scares or just simply gory graphics. It's real horror. Stuff that could affect you and me at any time in our daily lives. And that's what Local 58 encapsulates. Imagine being in your room alone with the TV on. You fall asleep only to wake up at 3 a.m. You see a news broadcast has just ended. It suddenly gets interrupted and you see a weird broadcast about how there was a war that went on behind closed doors and that your country lost. The victorious country or victorious third party is now invading your country and gonna take you captive by force. They're gonna do unspeakable things to you, but you can avoid this. Even though we lost, we can in fact avoid this. Just load your gun and take the shot. They can't take you captive if you're incapacitated. Just when it's telling you how to take care of your children with your gun, the clip cuts off, and the news channel comes back on just as normal. The channel explains that what you just witnessed was nothing more than a hoax. As you lie there with your gun loaded, you wonder, are they coming? This is exactly how these videos are intended for you to watch. I personally love what these types of videos go for because I think traditional horror is always pretty fake, but this dives into something that could realistically happen to any one of us in the real world. If this sounds like it's interesting to you, I'm going to leave a link below to the Local 58 channel. They have many other videos like this on their channel, not just Contingency, so make sure to check all of those out. With that said, let's go on to the next addition to the Iceberg, Kate Yup. So this one was just straight up disgusting. Not like the Lasagna cat video, but just nasty. Kate Yup is a YouTube channel in which a girl who I assume is Kate posts videos of her eating loads and loads of food. The main distinction between her channel and everyone else's mukbang channels is that her videos entail her eating food at a very, very fast rate, almost as if she is starving. And this is exactly where the rabbit hole begins. People have speculated that it's not normal for a person to eat this fast, eat this amount of food, and that it's not normal for someone to wear a blindfold while they make these videos. She has also been seen with bruises on her body in some of the videos, and there are also random occurrences like this where the table that she's eating off of randomly starts vibrating, or the bowl that she's taking food out of randomly gets moved. All of these things happen and she never acknowledges any of it happening around her. Also, she never talks in her videos, it's just her eating, that's it. The theory is that Kate has been kidnapped and starved and is forced to eat an abnormal amount of food. This would explain why she looks so starved, why she eats so much, and why she can be seen with bruises sometimes. People also like to state how in this video she spells out the word help by capitalizing only the letters H, E, L, and P. She does so in the text that pops up on screen, and if you go throughout the entire video, those are the only letters that are capitalized. Now to me, this whole theory doesn't really make sense. Why would you kidnap someone and then let them edit their own video? With that said though, her last post was a year ago on November 10th of 2019. This has caused a lot of people to believe that she has been murdered or something along those lines. I personally don't believe this one because honestly it just doesn't add up. No one would kidnap someone and make them upload videos like that. It just doesn't seem like anything that somebody would be able to realistically pull off. A more likely explanation is either burnout from making these types of videos, or she has an eating disorder and was forced to stop making these types of videos for that reason. YouTubers stop posting all the time, myself included. Sometimes life just happens and you might have a day job that gets in the way of your hobby. Maybe she has a job and friends that she doesn't want to know about her disgusting hobby of eating food like this. All of these explanations make much more sense, but it's still fun to think about the kidnapping theory every now and again. I will leave a link below to her channel so you guys can go check it out for yourselves. The Dawn is Your Enemy. The Dawn is Your Enemy is a reference to an Adult Swim bumper that would play as a sign-off bump to the network. I believe that there is a creepypasta tied to all of this, but the main reason this is on the list is because it traumatized a lot of kids. Much like how I have childhood trauma from when I'd be watching a TV show and then suddenly one of those flash flood warnings would come on air. This bumper aired during the early morning when the last episode of Adult Swim would come on, and it served as a way to scare kids off of the TV so that they wouldn't realize that there was a different side to Cartoon Network. The phrase, "the dawn is your enemy," is in reference to how the dawn, which in this case is the morning, is actually your enemy. It's your enemy because of how late you stayed up to watch this bumper. Adult Swim actually aired a follow-up to this bumper on May 17th of 2020 after an episode of American Dad. The bumper was changed slightly though, as it was changed to say "the dawn is your frenemy" and was created with the creepypasta in mind. They even have a red balloon fly up and the sun wink at the viewer like in the creepypasta. Besides that though, not much to be said. Let's move on. Little Baby's Ice Cream. Why this is so low on the iceberg is unclear, because I think this video went pretty damn viral. It's exactly what many of you are thinking of. It's this video of a man who appears to be made of ice cream eating himself. That's the entire video. It's just a man eating ice cream made from his own body, with a narrator explaining how delicious the ice cream is. The video was nothing more than a publicity stunt and commercial made by the company Little Baby's Ice Cream, and as big as the commercial got, it wasn't enough to save the company, as the company Little Baby's Ice Cream went out of business in 2019. Even though the company has ceased to exist, this image will forever be burned into our minds. Candle Cove. Candle Cove was originally a creepypasta that was posted by web cartoonist Chris Stauber in 2009. You guys should remember Chris Stauber, as I just mentioned him earlier, as the creator of Local 58. The story Candle Cove was presented in a format of a message board conversation, with many people talking amongst each other about a children's cartoon or show called Candle Cove. In the creepypasta, Candle Cove was a pirate show that basically contained a lot of nightmare fuel for kids, including a scary looking puppet and marionettes, weird long eerie pauses in the show, and episodes where the entire episode was just all the characters screaming and crying until the episode ended. The creepypasta then ends with one last message on the message board saying that someone had recently visited their mother at a nursing home and asked her if they remember them watching a show called Candle Cove. The mother then responds by saying that she was surprised that the person could remember such a show. When questioned about it further, the mom explains it like this: "I used to think it was so strange that you'd say, 'I'm gonna go watch Candle Cove now, Mom,' and then you would turn the TV to static and just watch dead air for 30 minutes. You had such a big imagination with your little pirate show." That is where the creepypasta then ends. Now, while that's pretty creepy, with the show being nothing more than a fathomed up occurrence in the minds of many children, it is just a story and nothing more. Crazy enough though, the show Channel Zero, which is a TV show that was based on 4 creepypastas, the first season is based on Candle Cove and stays pretty true to the original story. Chris Stauber was even involved in the writing process for the first season of the show. If you guys want to watch the show now though, I believe it's only on YouTube TV or Apple TV, so that kind of sucks. This brings us to the 4th layer of the iceberg. We have now moved on from that weird part of YouTube to what I like to call diving into the alternate reality. Poochie and Pansy. Poochie and Pansy is a web series that started on YouTube back in 2009. The series is about Poochie and Pansy, which are both dogs, and their quest to rescue this random kitten. Basically, the show is on here because it's riddled with these random jump cuts and disturbing imagery, such as this video of this person with one eye bulging out, or this random shot of an empty hospital. Most of these videos tell an overarching plot about them finally rescuing the kitten, and the series pretty much ends there. On the surface, these are nothing more than just weird, disturbing videos made for disturbing content's sake. However, the show was actually a part of something a lot bigger. A quick TLDR on the purpose of the series itself served as a start to a much larger ARG, or so-called alternate reality game. Now, before I get into what this game entailed, I believe it's important for viewers to know what the hell is an alternate reality game. An ARG is exactly what it sounds like. It's a game. But it's not like a video game or a board game. It usually entails someone creating the start of this ARG, but unlike other games, they don't publicly announce that the game has started. Creators will usually silently start their ARG in the background, and then set one thing off in their content to tip people off to the fact that the game has started. For example, there was actually a Dark Knight ARG done when the movie was coming out, where people were given $1 bills with the Joker's face on it. They were given these bills randomly at Comic-Con one year. These bills were only the start and tipped them off to the start of this ARG. They would then fall down the rabbit hole of clues until they got to an end game, where the game is then won by someone out in the real world. They, however, have no real purpose though. It's not like you win a prize or win something for doing all this. Most of them are just treasure hunts for treasure hunt's sake, or they are done as a marketing tactic, much like with the Dark Knight one, where it was just meant to promote the movie. So how does this relate to Poochie and Pansy? Well, in Poochie and Pansy, the ARG that took place was called The Hunt for the Gangadiddle. The Poochie and Pansy series served as nothing more than as a hint as to how to start the hunt. The Gangadiddle is referenced in one frame of the show, and that's just one of the many clues that is given for this entire hunt. If you went through the hunt, it would bring you to this channel here, and since the ARG started, it seemed to have finished, as the creator himself posted that the Gangadiddle has in fact been found. If you want a more in-depth explanation, I will link ScareTheater's video going over Poochie and Pansy. Alan Tutorial. Alan Tutorial is a YouTube channel that was created in June of 2011, and its first video being posted in the same month of the same year. Like the name would suggest, the channel started off as a tutorial channel, but not like any other channel of its kind. This channel's tutorials were more focused on very obscure reasons and obscure tutorials that really made no sense. For example, his first video is called How to Leak on a Piece of Paper, which is exactly what it sounds like. He also has another video called How to Fill a Tiny Bin with Dirt. These tutorials aren't really meant to teach you anything, and the more you watch Alan's videos, the crazier Alan and his life becomes. It really starts picking up around this video called How to Pick Up a Blue Chair Off the Ground, where Alan becomes increasingly frightened of picking this blue chair up. A few videos later, Alan cuts himself while quote unquote installing an AC unit, but doesn't even stop doing what he's doing. He just ignores the blood all over his hands and continues with the tutorial as normal. The next video that he posted is him straight up tearing his house apart. He then soon becomes locked out of his house, and in another video he begins living out in the wilderness. From here, Alan descends into madness and seems to get captured in one of his videos. All the while, Alan still posts his tutorials in his happy voice and always talks to his viewers as if nothing is wrong. His last video was posted 6 years ago in December of 2014. You might be wondering, what was the point of this channel? Well, as opposed to some of the other entries on this list, this one has a clear-cut explanation. The creator of Alan Tutorial is none other than Alan Resnick, who came out and explained that the channel was made for an art project. The art project focused on a dark satire of all of the tutorial videos on YouTube. Resnick, in his own words, explains that he felt a lot of the people on YouTube were making very crappy content like this and posting very nonsensical tutorial videos without having much real purpose. And that was where the birth of Alan Tutorial came in. He wanted to create a satirical story based on that. Even though it's confirmed fake, the videos are still kind of hard to watch, especially during the nighttime. Feel free to check it out, as I will leave a link below to the channel. Body of a Pig. This is in reference to a video that was posted back on June 7th of 2007. The video is simply titled Body of a Pig and features a group of what I assume to be ghost hunters or paranormal investigators that began checking out an unknown haunted location. The video starts off as anyone would expect, but during their investigation, they pick up some audio on their EVP, which clearly states, "I have the body of a pig." It is stated that after the EVP was recorded, that they caught a picture of the so-called monster that said, "I have the body of a pig." This picture and video got very popular, and as of right now, the video is sitting at over 1 million views. People were led to believe that this was real and cannot ever be a hoax. However, the video has since been debunked. The TLDR on how it was debunked is due to how all of the other videos on the channel are clearly faked and use the same techniques as the body of a pig video. If you want more information regarding this, I will link yet another one of ScareTheater's videos that debunks the body of a pig video. Pilot Red Sun. Pilot Red Sun is a YouTube channel that focuses on posting MS Paint style animation videos. The first video was posted in December of 2012. The video was titled What's for Dinner. It's just a 20-second video of, well, instead of explaining it, I'm just going to play the video. It's only 20 seconds.
Hey chef, what's for dinner? Slop. Slime.
Most of his videos are like this, seemingly nonsensical and just all around MS Paint animations. I will say though, most of these videos have some kick-ass music which is produced and created by Pilot Red Sun himself. As for why he made this channel, I believe that a potential purpose for why he actually created the channel and started posting all these random animations surfaced around March 28th of 2016. This day marks when he posted a video by the name of Achievement. Achievement was the name of Pilot Red Sun's first album. I personally believe that he used the MS Paint animations to garner a big enough audience that would then want to listen to his music. But hey, that's just my take on it. I would expect something this far down on the list to be a lot creepier, but this just seems like a lot of the other videos that I've gone over so far. Maybe I'm missing something, but I didn't really feel creeped out at all. As a matter of fact, when I watched his last video that was posted, Mr. Fujiwara's Office, I felt this overwhelming sensation of calm and tranquility. It was kind of weird, but I think it's due to just the smoothness of the animations and the sounds that are used. Maybe it's because I watched it shortly after waking up in the morning, but I honestly don't know. Pilot Red Sun has continued to upload videos all the way until August 12th of 2020, where we have his last upload, which was the video that I mentioned, Mr. Fujiwara's Office. If you guys want to take a look at his channel, I actually recommend his album Achievement, as I personally like the techno music style that he went for. Check out the link below if you want to see more of Pilot Red Sun's content. WP Kept KW. WP Kept KW is a video that surfaced around 2014. I believe it began on YouTube from this video titled Cursed YouTube Video WP Kept KW Real Story by IEEE Wire. In the video, they explain how 2 weeks ago someone told them of a rumor about an unusual and hard to find YouTube video. They would search for weeks typing in WP Kept KW on the YouTube search bar, but no results ever came to be. Until finally one day they were able to view the video. The video is of a blurred face that looks really misshapen, all the while a scary distorted noise plays in the background that becomes increasingly worse. The person watching WP Kept KW explains that after watching the video, that the face keeps randomly appearing on their computer and that they have tried everything to get the curse off of their laptop. Obviously this was just a hoax, as the first claim the person made isn't really believable, and if you typed in W Kept KW right now on YouTube, it'd be the first result. Before the video was debunked, however, people theorized that the person in the video is a person that died and the recording you are watching is their last living seconds. Other people have claimed that the person in the video is a failed government experiment that died, and this is why his face is so misshapen. If you want to see a debunking video on this, I will leave a link below to that video. Cursed Kleenex Commercial. The Cursed Kleenex commercial refers to this commercial where this little demon looking kid and what I assume to be his mother are just sitting down near each other. The commercial begins with some very eerie and creepy music as the mom gets closer and closer to the kid, and then she picks a tissue out of the Kleenex box next to them. Just then, the Kleenex starts controlling itself and even propels itself out of her hand, and then just as it reaches its peak, it starts to sharpen and make a point. Then the Kleenex logo appears and ends the commercial. So while the video itself isn't too creepy, it does have a creepy backstory. The reason it's called Cursed is because there was an urban legend surrounding the commercial. People claim that the cast of the commercial were all cursed and all met untimely deaths soon after making the commercial. Some people have even speculated that the woman in the commercial was institutionalized and became pregnant with a demon child. Obviously, all of this was nothing more than false rumors, but one thing that did in fact happen after making the video was that many people watching the commercial at home filed complaints. In fact, so many complaints about how unnerving the commercial was ended up getting the commercial taken out the air fairly quickly. Even though the commercial was not on the air anymore, the legend still lives on. Not much else to be said, let's move on. The Max Headroom Incident. The Max Headroom Incident is in reference to one of the first times that TV was hijacked and put on blast in mainstream media. The incident in question took place on Sunday night, November 22nd, 1987, where residents of Chicago watching the local news on WGN TV were suddenly interrupted by a video of a mysterious man. The video contained no audio and depicted a man in a Max Headroom mask, which Max Headroom, if you guys don't know, was the world's first computer-generated TV host, and actually has no relation as to why the Chicago news was interrupted that night. The first interruption was nothing more than a short burst, as it was shortly taken off the air right after it started. But then later that night, a broadcast of Doctor Who on WTTW TV in Chicago was also interrupted by the same hacker. The two hacker clips are pretty much the same, with the main difference between the two being that the second interruption had audio. In the audio, the man mentions a famous sportscaster, makes fun of Coke commercials at the time, and just does some plain weird shit. The reason that this video is on the Iceberg is because it's just plain weird, and this person has actually never been caught. No one to this day has no clue as to who is behind the Max Headroom incident. There are larger theories on who it could be, but I don't have enough time here, and I'd recommend looking up the incident yourself because I honestly can't sum up all the theories into one small section. This brings us to the end of this video, as the last incident that was said will conclude the 4th layer of the iceberg. I will keep you guys posted on the community tab of my channel of when part 2 to this iceberg will come out. Part 2 is going to be going over layers 5 through 7. It should be coming out any day now and has around the same amount of content as this video. By the way, if you have watched this far and are creeped out, just remember that most of what you are hearing about and seeing is just doing its job. The point of these videos is to be shocking and creepy, and remember that none of what you're hearing or seeing is actually real. I know that ruins the fun of it all, but I'm more so saying this for all the people watching that are completely bugged out. If you guys are seriously tweaked out at 3 AM watching this video, feel free to check out the other videos on my channel, such as the What Happened to Don't Hug Me I'm Scared video, or What Happened to the Movie 9 from 2009. They are much more lighthearted videos and will surely take you out of that creepy mindset. Speaking of which, if you guys aren't already, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss another upload. I am pleased to announce that we are really close to hitting 5,000 subscribers, and I expect to hit it within the next day or so. Thanks to every single person who has joined my community, and I'm super excited to just get more content out there. With all of that said, I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.